Okay, so anyway, there's a good opening.
I was going to ask who you guys hated the most in the Star Wars universe. It's women, right?
Wait, are they even women? Because they're aliens, so we don't know.
No, they're humans. They're humans.
Well, whatever the Star Wars equivalent of human is.
Exactly.
They're absolutely human.
Do they call themselves, I'm a woman?
They call themselves
like
humans.
Rey?
They've literally, yes,
As a matter
many
of fact,
times.
Emperor Palpatine only insisted that all Grand Admirals were human.
See, I don't pay
Is
attention
that
to the
all
dialogue
EU
in these
stuff,
movies. I
or
just
is
go for
that
the action.
From the prequels.
It's legends, books.
I'm being 100%.
I mean,
that's why I don't give a fuck.
But no, so they're humans, and there are
Humanoid.
aliens. But truthfully, there are only
Terrans,
about
I guess.
a dozen or 20 or so different species that are dominant. It's truthfully, you got Twi'leks.
And I guess before we even started the episode, TJ gets into the dominant species, dominant race.
right.
All right,
Hey,
get ready to do it.
fucking nerd alert.
He said nerd alert on this podcast.
Oh, that's great. Let's go ahead and just...
Cursing? Can we curse?
Have you not listened?
You can curse as much as you want.
I've listened, I just forget.
Okay, cool.
Let's go ahead and jump right into the episode. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Escaping Podcast.
The best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between.
And by everything in between, he means those distances between parsecs. What is it, and how can you do less of them when it's a set distance, Han Solo? How do you do that? Today we are talking about the Star Wars franchise building up to Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, we are.
I am Daniel. As always, to my right I've got...
Kels for show, a.k.a. the swag is strong with this one.
Sitting across from Kelsey, as always, ready with his perfect rebuttal, we've got...
God.
We've got
TJ, who happens to be an ordained Jedi Knight.
A.k.a.
Daddy Money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It's Daddy Money, y'all.
You have recently been named Daddy Money.
And if anybody would pay attention to the group chat, it's like the third nickname of it.
I know.
But
what was it? It was Daddy Money. It was Deathbringer, and what was it? Grand Wizard.
No, it was like Old Man. I think some crazy shit like that.
Old Man, Grand Wizard, not far to leap.
Yeah.
Today
my God.
Today our guest is one of my favorites. We work together at Escape Velocity Comics, where Kelsey, you work now too.
Yes, I do.
I can't believe you're going to pass over the fact that I'm an actual ordained Jedi Knight.
I thought you were going to say Grand Wizard, man. I really did.
Cyclops. Oh, they can't see what I'm doing right now, but word. And not the cool kind.
Our guest today is...
Hi, my name's Brandon, a.k.a. Happy to be here today.
Oh, shit.
Ooh,
yeah, that was very nice, Brandon.
Like that.
It's like a dad joke ready to happen.
I am.
Well, hi, happy to be here.
As always, we record at Escape Velocity Comics. Our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs do not reflect that of Escape Velocity, its staff, its parents, the people that were in the neighborhood when they grew up, maybe that kid across the street who ate his scabs, but we don't know that. We can't know that. That's for God.
They do pay nearly everybody here.
Yeah.
Except for me. I'm free.
Yeah. Keep hanging around. You'll be narrating book club and shit.
Brandon, when did you get into Star Wars?
Oh, Jesus, my mom...
No, not Jesus. No, talking about you.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Just Brandon.
Yeah.
I didn't ask when Jesus.
I just found out that the picture
that
that Jesus that we're all familiar with was actually that painter's gay lover.
What? Wait.
Yeah, like...
with the blonde hair and the blue eyes? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And in another podcast, we'll dive right into that.
I'm going to touch on that so much, is what he said before he painted him.
Yes.
Brandon, when did you get into Star Wars?
My mom is a huge Star Wars fan. She had the original unaltered trilogy on VHS, which I believe those are worth like $150
They are,
or
yeah.
something, even for on VHS.
Unaltered, exactly.
Yeah.
Before Lucas got in there and just started...
I've got a whole thing about that. So I've literally grown up watching Star Wars. There was a point in my life where I could recite New Hope from memory.
That's...
And
you said nerd alert at the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
I did. Yeah.
So New Hope is your white person's Friday. Every black person can quote Friday for beginning.
I used to be able to quote Friday from beginning.
It's American classic.
It's an American classic.
It is, because everybody has a Friday.
So TJ, when did Star Wars first come into existence?
1977.
Yeah,
and how old was I? About 37.
I was going to say about 37, 38 years old.
Right.
A healthy age.
Actually, so I was 2. And one of the cool things about Star Wars, especially A New Hope, was that it ran for a long time to begin with in theaters, went away, came back, and ran huge again. And when it ran huge again, much like I do in the middle of the night, like that? So that's usually a Daniel joke right there.
Nice.
Anyway,
Well done.
a little slow. All right. But anyway, so when it came back again, that's when I first saw it. So I have seen all of them in theater.
Oh my god!
Sweet.
That's
So it's
awesome.
pretty
That's quite the experience.
It is an amazing experience.
And the original trilogy, I mean, no one knew they were going to be as big as they were.
That's true.
It was just kind of like a one-off. Here's a space saga, and I mean, after it came out, we saw many different, not parodies, but would-be Star Wars movies.
Yeah. So we had. So I think it was actually after Empire Strikes Back when they knew they had they knew they had a hit with 1977, A New Hope. But when it finally decided there was going to be a franchise, that's after Empire Strikes Back. Then you started having things like the Holiday Edition,
Which was the first appearance of Boba Fett in that cartoon.
Oh my god damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
word?
okay, wow.
See, I thought you were talking about the Ewok one.
That's
Ewok
after,
Adventure,
obviously,
which is
after Return of the Jedi.
unfortunately my girlfriend's favorite Star Wars movie. It is not good.
There's like a couple of them, by the way.
Yeah, the first one where the kids first meet the Ewoks.
Can I give you guys my hot take on Star Wars?
I suppose.
Right on the table. Let's go.
Boba Fett, most overrated character in all of fiction.
I don't know,
And all
man.
of fiction,
all
right?
of
Yeah,
fiction.
you're in a comic book shop, Brandon. There's a lot of fiction going on.
You
in
can
this
choose
place.
Yeah, but
Superman. You can
None
choose.
of them have ever had the following: that one character who's in like 4 scenes and has 2 lines and dies like
true.
a bitch at the end.
That's true, man. I can't argue.
He's got
That's
a bitchin'
valid
rocket
point.
pack and a grapple hook and a flamethrower.
So did the Rocketeer.
Well, I think one of my favorite things is, have you guys seen the behind-the-scenes picture of the guy who played Boba Fett?
Oh yeah, where he's got
He's
like
sitting
he's like
there in a
chubby
cantina.
with, like, a
He's
big-
got this weird head sack over his face to
Yeah.
cover his nasty face. He's got this weird 70s mustache, these thick bottle cap glasses, and he's just leaning against the wall while these Twi'lek women are like talking to him.
Which, to be honest, is exactly how I want to look when I die. I mean, that if he was like that the whole trilogy, then he would not be the most overrated character.
Don't even worry about it,
helmet.
Brandon. I've bought you the suit. You will look like that
Yes,
when you die.
I'm so excited.
At least in your casket.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the original trilogy. Talk to us about that, TJ.
Yeah, so the original trilogy is unique in that we say the original trilogy because it starts with episode 4.
Which is crazy. Well, first it was just called Star Wars, right?
Correct.
Well, no, it always says episode 4 New Hope right there in the screen crawl.
I guess I was
100%
misinformed about that. Yeah.
I'm pretty
in the
sure
unaltered version.
Yeah, because I believe that it says episode 5 in Empire Strikes Back. So, and that was always George Lucas' intent was to jump into the middle of a saga and then to tell the rest of the stories.
Okay.
Eventually. Now that being said, he told the 3 stories and then he just sat on his scripts and on his high and mighty horse there collecting merchandise royalties for 25 years and never didn't make another one. But the point is the trilogy jump you right into the middle, like in hyperspace. That's my hyperspace.
That's a great
sound effect,
hyperspace sound.
right? And you missed the hand movement too. It's just like Chewie. And
No, I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Everyone listening saw it.
I believe it. And so jumped you right into the middle of a story. Now it was it turns out, as we'll all discuss here, it turns out to be the middle encapsulated story of a Skywalker generation. So you do get to start at roughly the beginning of that particular story, but
Sure.
it's in the middle of a saga.
But I was just going to say, aren't they all in the middle of a Skywalker story? Because even when you go back to the first 3, it was Anakin, and he was setting up to
you
be.
can look at that way the
and
same
now we're
way.
talking about I'm just saying.
The same way people think the Bible's all about is one family. I don't think it is. There's
I-
other people happening.
Well,
Adam
the
and
one
Eve.
family, us all being humans and come from Adam and Eve. So if they're everybody's mother and father, then we are one family. I'm just saying.
That's a weird segue, but
You must don't listen to the podcast a lot.
but
It's the only segue we got.
But the prequels start the Skywalker saga because Anakin was a divine. What's the term for it? Was,
immaculate
immaculate conception.
conception.
Although
Yeah.
they did retcon that in the comic books a little later, where it said that
right
the
now
emperor
they did.
the emperor came in and he affected
Really?
the
I wasn't aware of
midichlorians and
that.
Shmi.
Okay, now
Whoa,
to be
whoa.
fair, the story is that the Emperor influenced the midichlorians. The midichlorians were already going to give birth.
But do
to,
we know that
Anakin.
that actually happened, or he just
recently
said
on the
that to
show.
people? Like, no, I influenced. Did you?
Right, it's one of those retcons where they come in and they're like, "Yes, Batman's parents were killed by Joe Chill, but did you know that the gun was melted down to make his chest piece?"
Oh, word.
Yeah.
That's true too. And it's like, but then you also had Padme playing Tiger to Anakin's Kylie Jenner, and just waiting for that young boy to become a young man, so she's got to hop on that saber.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, or
Just a
before
little bit.
ourselves. I'm not sure, but let's go to the Skywalker that we're first focused on. Luke Skywalker, the whiniest son of a bitch in a movie I've seen in a long time. Where was he going to buy what?
Oh, I was gonna go to the Tashi station to pick up some power converters.
Uncle Owen. Yeah, just one more
3PO!
season. Yeah.
Where could he be?
What? So after watching these episodes again in preparation for episode 9 here coming at us,
it was a journey.
So
in a galaxy far, far away.
I started watching
long time
them.
ago.
I did the original saga, and I took a look at we got Luke Skywalker, the 2 sons of Tatooine, and everything. Looking at that, and it's wonderful. But he is this little farm boy out in the outer rim, or let's see, where is the planet? If there's a bright center to the universe, he's on the planet that's farthest from.
Yeah. He's in Milwaukee.
Yeah, more or less. But anyway, so droids are brought to him by chance. He follows those droids to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi takes him by chance to a Corellian cruiser.
You're glossing over the best part of the franchise.
Oh, is it the blue milk?
It's the Jawas.
The Jawas. Ooh, titty! There you go.
Ooh, titty indeed.
Ooh,
that
titty.
blue milk.
Ooh, titty! Man, oh man.
I'm just saying, in the desert, they found a kid named Luke. When all these aliens races, just like in the Bible, they found all the Luke, Johns, Pauls, Ringos. I'm just
Owen,
Owen,
Tito,
Randy,
Reby.
Yep. People forget about Reby Jackson.
Yeah, dude, Reby Jackson. Who even knows?
Samuel.
Okay.
Eventually.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. He's not in the franchise yet. He's been dead.
Word.
So anyway, it's Luke Skywalker's conflict with his father. That turns out to be Darth Vader. So that takes 3 movies to get to the end of. And anyway, he ends up triumphing. He turns Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, back to the good side, and they blow up the Death Star for the second time, and everyone lives happily ever after for 25 years.
I've got 2 questions for you. One, what's your favorite movie in the original trilogy, and why the fuck didn't Chewie get a medal in the first one?
Right. So to answer the first question, Empire Strikes Back.
Good choice. Good choice.
And
I have another hot take about that.
Yeah, I know you do.
Number 2, animals don't have souls.
Whoa!
Drop that
Who
bomb.
said he was an animal?
That's right.
He's a Wookiee.
We're all animals.
But he doesn't look like the rest of us.
Oh my god! After watching Watchmen last night, this is some shit.
Yeah.
If you're caught up on Watchmen, just know TJ is not a member of Cyclops or the 7th Infantry or any of that.
Thank you for saying that.
He's an ally.
He is a great guy, and we just like to dunk on him a little bit. He can hold his own though.
Pretty dunkable. I'm like a Dunkin' Donut.
So you like Empire. Before we get to why you like Empire, I want to hear Brandon's hot take.
Okay, so my hot take has cooled since rewatching it.
It's a lukewarm take.
It has now become a lukewarm take. My original hot take that I had formulated about 4 years ago was that Empire sucks and it's boring as ass.
Now, flat ass, I'm assuming.
Just to give our listeners a little bit of context on your opinions, how do you feel about Blade Runner?
Oh, Blade Runner is unwatchable.
I can see that.
So you can basically crumple up Brandon's
can't.
opinions and throw it away.
Exactly. I make no illusions. My opinions are what they are, and people hate me for them. But that's what it is.
So Empire. So we get the argument. Empire Strikes Back is not terribly glorious.
No.
They don't win in the end. They do end up gathering most of the folks they started with all back together, but notably they're missing Han Solo.
Replaced by Landon Casserole.
Yeah, I suppose replaced by Lando Calrissian. But the point is, they do lose one of their members, and don't really. That people assume they're dead. He's dead. Could be dead, of
course,
or at least taken away. And we're also short one hand.
They're short-handed on the ship.
Well done. You know, the thing that I'll add to Empire too, and again, I don't hate it as much as I used to now, but that movie, the plot of that movie, of probably 80% of that movie, could be reduced to them trying to make the Falcon to make the jump to hyperspeed.
Dude, at various locations, various challenges. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we see Empire. After that, we go to
Return of the Jedi.
Give me the quick rundown on that. And,
okay, so Return of the Jedi.
Take.
Return of the Jedi's got an undetermined number of years of break between the two, but it's enough time for Luke to become Jedi Master.
He's been training on Dagobah.
Right. Well, he's been training anyway. We don't necessarily know he's been training on Dagobah.
And he's got those dope black robes now.
That's right. That's right. You know,
so good.
Even though black is the color of the Sith.
Yeah.
It looks good on everybody.
Yeah, it does.
And who was he training with?
I don't know.
That's what he just said.
Presumably Yoda.
Yes.
So it's been a few years, so probably.
Not to be confused with Verdito.
But
Not
right.
at all.
No, this is
Unless.
it's not. Stop yourself, man! I tell you what. Anyway,
time travel theories, folks. Check out our Patreon for that. We've got a special series called The Ballad of Verdito. Come and check it out.
So, anyways, it's enough time for him to get trained as a Jedi Master, come up with a plan to rescue Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt, and then go on about the rest of the adventures, which basically involve him trying to turn Darth Vader back to the good side. On the shield, on the Death Star, the shield generator, on Endor, a bunch of teddy bears fight some stormtroopers, and everybody wins in the end.
Also, where do they get the meat for the celebration at the end?
The stormtrooper.
It's stormtrooper meat.
Absolutely, the stormtrooper.
There's no question.
Soylent Trooper is Trooper.
That's awesome.
We're not gonna miss that meat.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, so for a long time we get nothing after that.
Right, so it seems like an encapsulated story. We've got farm boy, he trains, he's a pilot, he does a lot of cool things, learns the Force, eventually defeats the most evil people on the planet. The Emperor Palpatine, I should mention, is in there because we're going to see him again. But so he gets killed. There's my air quotes right there. Air quotes.
They were so heavy the mic picked them up. Those are some crazy audio levels.
But it seems like an encapsulated story, and that's where it sat for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was for like 17 years or so, 18
now,
years.
There were a couple cartoons in between there. You had the Ewok Adventures, you had the Droids cartoon, and a couple things here and there.
I think we had Clone Wars. No, we didn't.
No.
Anakin. So.
Well, we did have a handful of Commodore 64 Star Wars games.
Yes.
One, my personal favorite, where if you took the title off and didn't know if it was a Star Wars game, it could have just been called Camel vs. Bird.
Like the original E.T. game.
Yes, exactly.
I had
what
Empire
a
Strikes
bad
Back
game.
for Atari 2400.
Yeah, I had one of
That's
those too.
in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
But I had snow speeders fighting AT-ATs and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So nothing happened, and then set the stage. The year is 1999.
Oh, bring us back.
And
1990.
rumors start popping up, posters start popping up. We are getting episode 1. We've seen episode 4, 5, and 6. Now we get episode 1. And does anyone remember the poster for that?
Was it the one when little Annie was looking at the building and the shadow was
The
Darth
shadow
Vader?
was Darth Vader.
That was one of them, yeah.
Because of his stupid ass bowl cut. It was amazing.
And then people would fast forward and rewind and pause that movie and look for that scene, and it's not there.
No. But there is a scene, and this is getting a little ahead of myself, in episode 2 when
Attack.
Anakin and Padme are outside of Ben and Beru? Owen and Beru's house?
Yes.
And his hair, for some reason, makes it look like the Vader mask.
I'm with you.
I guess a little too late, too little too late.
Yes.
But we get the original one, and not the original one, the prequel, because it is a prequel.
Son of a bitch. It's not.
Okay, let's take a vote. Listeners, if you think it's a prequel, dial 555, kiss my ass. If you think it's not a prequel, dial 666, shut up, TJ.
It's called episode 1.
I mean, if it
It's not
comes
a prequel,
out
it's the first episode.
But it comes out after.
the original
matter.
3,
It
it's
does
a prequel.
matter.
Unless
That's
it was episode 0.
That still comes out before the other one. So
Exactly. Afterwards.
A prequel means prequel, sequel. That means predates, not chronologically, just upon the movie's release.
I think that's interesting. I think what TJ you might be speaking to is kind of like we have a super reverence towards the original trilogy, and a lot of people hold it on some kind of like really high, untouchable pedestal. I mean, like completely reasonable critiques of those movies, people will attack you and eviscerate you for. So the fact that we call them the prequels says more about how we feel about the original trilogy than we do about the actual canonical placement of the movies. That's just interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Okay,
That's the podcast. Tune in next week for.
Having said it that way, instead of just you going, no. That makes a little more sense to me. Maybe it's because someone from my generation has said it. I can't tell. So,
okay, boomer.
Boom! Right there.
Episode 1, we see 2 Jedis. Gonna go meet some obvious Chinese businessmen, which is real bad right off the gate.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
The Jedi are here.
Oh, that was so neat.
And it is bad. And that's not me being racist. That's me doing a Star Wars character. Think on that.
Yeah.
So it's Obi-Wan and it's Qui-Gon. It's not fine. They go in.
I didn't even say fine. I said fun. But that's good.
They're assaulted by droids. The Trade Federation is working with a shadowy figure, obviously Palpatine. They leave. They go to Naboo. We meet the next racist character, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh man.
Thank you, Lucas.
Now I'm watching this with Christy, and she says, "Well, no, they're not primitive. Look at that water city. That's advanced." Later on, in the final battle of Naboo, she realizes they're using sticks and shields, and she goes, "Oh, that was bioluminescence. That was not technology.
That's nature. That's evolution.
That is nature doing its thing."
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
we're
encapsulate
introduced.
episode 1.
We're introduced to Anakin Skywalker as a kid. He's slave to another racist character, Watto, who is Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
Yeah, if we're being generous about him, he is some kind of like Greek person, and that's being nice about what that
Look at
stereotype
my big
would be.
dead nose. It is bad. It's
Or they're
not
aliens, but fair enough. Go ahead.
or George Lucas has a problem.
No, he doesn't. He's married to a black woman, so he can't be.
So, see? Do you see?
That's like Brandon's grandfather, who's married to an Asian woman and can't be racist because
I
of
know
that.
he's not because he's married to an Asian woman.
I didn't know we were
called
going to bring that into
sarcasm.
the podcast.
Yeah, I'm putting my shit all on blast.
Anakin is introduced. Young Obi-Wan is introduced. The Sith are at work. We see young Padme, and she's looking at this little boy saying, "God damn, in 10 years, I'm going to jump them bones."
Because he's how old do you think he is?
10. I call him 10.
He's about
10
10
or
years
8.
old.
He's about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right. So,
Yeah.
and how old is she?
She's at least 17, 18.
She's the leader of a goddamn planet.
Oh, so she's like 45.
No.
At least. No, but
No, electoral
Maybe.
age.
We don't know how they age either, so she might be 45.
Oh,
She's old enough not to be.
Yeah.
what is it? Nope, not going to say that. Okay.
Oh, you know.
the point is, there's an age discrepancy.
Old
that's
enough to
probably-
lie about it.
There's probably an age discrepancy in the first episode that's probably a little bit too great even for all of us that believe in all this fiction here in the room.
Yeah.
It gets relatively cleared up in
I will
episode
say
2
the
and
plot
3,
of the first movie, no good. Now, 2 good things did come out of it.
Yes. That
Pod
lightsaber.
racing. Mm-hmm. Well, pod racing because we got the video game, and that's still a fun scene.
And it was cool.
then,
It was dope.
Duel of the Fates,
Dun, 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 dun,
which
dun.
I am no longer allowed to sing at home around Christy because I just kept going up to her, poking her, be like, bum, bum, ba-da-da. I'd be in another room.
I think
Just,
that's more of a comment about you than
and she's like, Daniel, I swear to God, if I hear that
You
again.
and I about to leave out my boy Darth Maul. That's the
no,
only
that's
reason.
what I'm saying. Duel of the Fates, that battle with him.
Oh, I didn't know that was the name of the battle.
Just
God.
call that whole sequence Duel of the Fates. It's
Okay,
it's the name of the
then
song.
never mind. I retract that
Fantastic.
statement.
Just fucking
That's the only reason I went and
fantastic.
saw that fucking movie. It was
Yeah.
Darth Maul. That motherfucker came out with one blade saber, and then that other light shit came out. I'm like,
And,
you got me.
You know, the fact
Devil
that
ninjas.
the extended universe and the TV shows took Dark Mom and made his whole
Dark
character.
Mom? Dark Mom?
yeah,
Dark Mom?
Dark Mom. And,
I'm still waiting for that
Continue
callback
the
to
story.
come back.
It's been
after
in-
they when they put it in Rogue One
Solo.
and Solo.
Put it in
and Solo. My fault, Solo.
So
yeah.
time passes. They have the same thing. They blow up a near Death Star looking thing. There's
Boom.
awards at the end.
Boom.
Jar Jar becomes a
Did he
politician
get-
because
so
all
Jo-
politicians
wait,
are
wait.
jokes.
So Jar Jar did get a medal.
I don't know.
He got recognition. He got a seat on the council.
They
which
probably
Chewbacca
gave him a
didn't.
colorful leaf.
I'm
and
like,
said,
he's too stupid
"Here
to
you
know
go."
the difference.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
racist.
But they did make him a senator.
They did. I mean, he became he was like a regent to the queen for.
Yeah,
for
Did he
part
have
of the
any real
reason.
power though?
So it's interesting at this point to note that Senator Palpatine, at this point, who becomes the Emperor, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or already is.
Which
the
we
Emperor.
all know if you've watched the original
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, it makes all kinds of sense. It's a lot of fun, great casting, lots of cool CGI. But the point is, he's a senator of Naboo,
Yeah.
where
Oh wow.
Padme Amidala is the queen
Oh shit!
of Naboo, and of course, then Jar Jar Binks comes from Naboo as well. But it just it
Yeah, the
struck me when I was
Gungans
watching.
are not allowed on the upper level where the.
That's why they stay in. They
That's
force them
right,
back
that's
into the
right.
sea where they came from.
That's when I was watching the first 3 episodes. I was really kind of blown away. I'm
Literal
like, wait a second,
wetbacks.
this.
Because he
Literally,
has sight, he can see the future, so he probably knew what Amidala was going to be, or Padme.
yeah. And so it is
An adulteress.
kind of shocking.
Whoa, that is wild.
I'm like, I'm gonna let her fuck Anakin because that's gonna lead him to the dark side. Because
Well,
vagina will always
he-
do that to a young man's mind.
he weirdly. We were just talking about this earlier. He weirdly violated Anakin's mom.
Yeah.
If the new continuity is true, that he influenced the midichlorians, which, by the way, the most quickly retconned thing in all of Star Wars history. It gets mentioned in Episode 1, never mentioned again.
Midichlorians aside, there's too many problems in this galaxy to deal with other than, oh, well, it's in everything. It's made a pact with us. Now we're special and we can use the Force. Not to step on, where you're going to be, Brandon, but Luke says later on, it's in everything. The Force is in everything. It's why we see that little farm boy later on. Episode 2 happens. We're introduced to Jango Fett, not to be confused with Jamie Foxx's Jango. Although that mashup is fantastic.
Oh, that would be
that
great.
shit is dope.
I would watch it. There's too many old white men in the Senate and with lightsabers doing bad stuff that Jango Fett, Jamie Foxx would be well placed in this galaxy.
And if you want to Google that image, there's a cosplayer that has real good. The Jango Fett outfit is dope.
But this movie just introduces us to the clones based off of Jango's biometrics. There's also the small, annoying child that is Boba Fett, who is just a snot-nosed piece of shit, which kind of lines up with what Brandon was saying about him as an adult. He doesn't really... He doesn't change a whole lot, but he is a clone, so you can't blame him on that.
What is pretty fascinating, though, is that all the clones that they discover on Kamino, they all have armor that look or resemble Mandalorian armor.
Right.
And that was my question, like, is Jango a Mandalorian?
No. It was one of those things George Lucas with the first
he took his
three...
goddamn mask off.
Oh, shit. That is not the way.
That is not the way.
Yeah.
So we get the clones saying that Darth Tyrannus had set it up. There was another Jedi that set up the whole production but never came back to finish it. Obi-Wan gets the army, takes them back, says, "Guys, you're not going to believe it, but I picked up a couple friends on the way, and I think you should hear what they have to say." And then they all come out singing and dancing like it's an old 60s Navy comedy. It's amazing.
It's like the California Raisins.
Yeah.
If only it was that cool.
And it wasn't that cool.
It wasn't. There was no harmony, no spins, nothing.
Anakin shows up to with Padme and Obi-Wan. She's like, she turned off the monitor. She doesn't like me staring at her. And I'm like, no shit, bud. No shit. She doesn't like you staring at her. Yeah. And then we get a space car chase,
cool.
Which is fine, but not great.
You are jumping all around this movie.
It's not a good movie.
But it does deserve to be talked about in order.
Yeah.
But
Anakin Skywalker shows up with Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's been years. He says, "What if Padme doesn't recognize me? What if she doesn't love me?" Padme, also nervous. Well, wait, young Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Jar Jar is now a member of the Council. Not Council, Senate. Who cares? He's a piece of shit. Eventually, there is an attempt on Padme's life. Zam Wessel? Yeah. Human? Maybe not. Who knows? Sky car chase. Need for Speed.
Pretty cool.
That's a good scene.
It's not great.
There are scenes in episode 2 that are the best out of the entire
But here's how you change it. There's no stakes. Obi-Wan jumps, he knows what he's doing. If Anakin would be the first one to jump, you'd be like, shit, kid, stop doing this. But Obi-Wan jumping, giving him okay, if you do this carefully, it'll be fine.
Is that when we get introduced to General Grievous in the second one?
No, General Grievous actually doesn't come into play until Clone Wars, the animated series, and episode 3.
Okay, then never mind. Then I don't remember anything about episode 2.
Basically, this movie is filler. This movie is trying to establish, here's Padme and Anakin falling in love. They shouldn't, but they do.
Right. Oh, so it's the Dragon Ball Z episode when Piccolo and Goku get their driver's license.
Exactly. Here's Obi-Wan and Anakin. They're like brothers, but should they be? It's very much just filler setting up what's supposed to happen in the third movie. This doesn't feel like a movie on its own. It feels like...
Does it feel like The Empire Strikes Back in the first 3 episodes?
No.
So there's also other things that are going on that like mostly people don't pick up on. That's all the political maneuvering that's going on.
God damn, that's why I stopped watching Iron Fist. They're like board meetings. I don't care about your board meetings.
There's a lot of reasons why people stop watching Iron Fist.
But you already know that when the clones were grown,
yes,
that they were already embedded in their brains, Order 66.
Yeah.
Okay, we find that out in the third one. We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
But the point is that whoever came to establish the clones and whoever came to so we had Darth Tyrannus to start the project. Right. We had another Jedi, in quotes. Allegedly.
Ooh, there's a lot of legends.
But then you had this other Jedi to come in and help out with the production and to make sure it was on track, right? And so then we have an actual good guy Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, comes and finds the clones, says, we need to bring these guys all back. They need to be part of our side, and then they are, and they're fighting with us, and everything's going great. And then the Emperor executes Order 66. So the point...
we're not there yet.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, at the time when they're developing the clones, the Emperor, or Senator Palpatine, or Darth Tyrannus, or Darth Plagueis, whoever you want to call him, right? Darth Sidious in this case, already knew the clones were going to be turned against him.
It's all been a long game.
He already knew that the Jedi were going to discover the clones and use them as the good guys.
Well, and what is it? I believe it's the second movie, this one, where... Mace Windu and Obi-Wan are trying to go against them, using them as, soldiers. But then it happens, and Mace Windu's like, well, there it is.
Whoop, there it is.
Yeah. Whoop, there it is. And Obi-Wan goes, word. And he goes, no, come on, man. Jesus Christ.
You get some
my
bones.
Culture. Yeah. And he's trying to shake his hand instead of pumping.
Good job.
It's great. Again, it just feels like a lot of filler. You get to see the clones in action. You get to see the setup of why, when Anakin betrays the Jedi, it's important. Well, it didn't feel like a movie on its own.
Okay, but what else happens?
That badass gladiator scene where they're all tied to the columns.
That was great.
That was dope.
The only reason I have a lot of respect for that is because of any Star Wars video game that came after it, and any Lego Star Wars game that came after it. It's pretty good.
But so what else happened?
Also, Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto.
Anyway,
Kit Fish, yo.
So I'm losing the beat on this here. But which episode is it that Anakin goes back and kills the Sand People?
That's 2. That happens in 2 because his mom got captured.
Shmi, after his mom Shmi, after she had been on the Jolly Roger with Captain Hook, eventually settled down, became a slave
Lily
again.
And the Lost
Yeah,
Boys?
that's right. More cultural appropriation. The Sand People, they didn't kill her so much as they overworked her, and then her heart, after seeing young Anakin, was like, "Oh, my baby."
That scene is super dark too. I mean, she's like chained to the wall, like Conan the Barbarian. It's crazy.
So here we have. What we have
Or
here,
sorry,
we're taking this 10-year-old little kid who wants nothing to do except to help people
and race pods.
And to help and race pods. He wants to risk his life to help these guys get a hyperdrive for no damn reason. They're just strangers on the planet, right?
Runs in the family.
But go from that to Darth Vader, which is a pretty incredible shift here.
Yeah.
So this second episode is rather important because it shows that all he's ever wanted to do is protect those people that he loves.
Mm-hmm. But yes, to a fault.
And so him following the Jedi way left his mom alone.
Okay, I will give you those points for Anakin. Here's where I'm going to take away all of them. Those points are coarse. They're rough and they get all over.
Look.
Oh, sorry, I meant sand.
Just need some lube to go right in.
Wait,
I don't think anyone's defending Lucas's script writing here.
I definitely will. But is that when he went back and the house was on fire and everybody was burnt?
Yeah, and then
Anakin? Or did it happen to Luke?
That's Luke.
That's Luke. All right.
Yeah,
you're thinking Luke.
No.
Okay, all right. Then never mind.
But this is the introduction of Owen and Beru.
Okay, all right. Gotcha.
So, didn't like this movie, and I'm like, fine, I'll watch it, I'll be done with it. And then I watched the third one today, thinking I'm going to hate this. And you know what? Best one of the 3.
The third one's really good.
From
Totally
start
watchable.
to finish, the only thing that took me out of it, as always, is that no at the end. Everything up into that, I enjoyed. And Ewan McGregor sold me on fucking everything in this movie.
Because somebody had to act.
When he's there,
that he was in the other 2 movies too.
Yeah, did he?
Huh?
We
I think he did.
we didn't even talk about like Phantom Menace, which I used to defend for a really long time, but I now have really grown away from. But
you've gone from milk to steak.
That movie and all 3 of the prequels, those casts are stacked. Liam Neeson, that was not Taken Liam Neeson. That's Gangs of New York Liam Neeson. True. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah,
like Ewan McGregor is probably one of the best actors of our time. Natalie Portman has a fucking Oscar.
I will give you also one of the little Easter eggs there is that Keira Knightley plays her double.
Damn,
which is great.
But that doesn't mean anything. Keira Knightley acting is kind of like the plane she walked in Pirates of the Caribbean. Stiff.
Yeah.
Absolutely disagree. But
the third movie I enjoyed. By the end, I'm like, yeah, this. You know what? This sucks. This sucks for Ewan McGregor. This sucks for Obi-Wan because even throughout the second movie, where he's like, Anakin, can you cool it? Like, can you just keep your emotions in check? In the third one, he's like, hey, buddy, it's fine. I'll see you later. I love you. May the Force keep you safe at night. And that's what they say.
I agree that the pacing is probably wrong. I think more should have happened in the second one because in the third one, all of a sudden, you get the feeling that George Lucas said, well, shit, this guy's got to be Darth Vader by the end of the movie. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi's got to be on a fucking desert. We got to have kids. Shit.
Yeah.
I got to write this. So anyway, there's all this lava, and then all that happens.
It's like me 2 days ago when I realized that we are in December and Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, motherfuckers gonna be getting January 1st gifts, like Happy New Year presents.
So I don't mind the way it ended. I actually really enjoyed how it got there. Even we can talk about the high ground if you want to.
Oh no, I like that. It was good.
But I liked how it ended. I thought it was a little rushed in the end. So probably I don't know what we would have shifted earlier, but.
Anakin's actual transformation, like crossing the threshold into Sithdom, that's what really kind of it feels the most rushed out of all of it because he's standing there and he has the crisis of character with Count Dooku first.
Do it,
and then later when he helps Palpatine with Mace Windu, when he helps Palpatine help.
Please don't let me die.
And so Anakin's sitting there and he's like, "What have I done? What have I done?" And Palpatine basically goes, "You did the right thing." And Anakin goes, "Okay," and then he goes and kills some children.
And he goes down, and then
lickety split too.
My favorite thing in this whole movie is the reaction of the little kid when Anakin when his lightsaber goes up. He's like, "It's too many, my lord.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?" And he goes, and the kid just shakes.
You ain't gotta worry about this. I got it.
So
that was heartbreaking.
it ends with the birth of Darth Vader, Luke and Leia being separated, raised in their respective places. Obi-Wan finds out Qui-Gon is going to teach him how to become a Force ghost eventually.
Yeah, you almost
Yoda
missed
is in
that,
exile. It's all happening. It's all taking place. And everyone was kind of like, huh, okay, so that's the end of the Star Wars story. We got all 6 episodes. We're good.
Okay, question. Which one was when he killed the kids the first time? And when he told Padme, like, I killed them.
Oh, no, that was the third one.
That was the third one, and she still was like...
Oh, no, sorry. Second one when he says he killed the Tusken Raider kids.
Yeah.
Sand people.
So that was like the start of it. And then she was like, okay, I'm still going to have sex with you and be with you, even though you did all this shit.
Sand people, even in The Mandalorian, we see later, nobody considers them an actual race or even legitimate.
But he felt remorse.
Mando, who communicates with them.
But he did, because he still felt bad, because that's why he was sitting there crying and shit.
But he felt justified.
He did, but he
was intervention of his mother.
Yeah,
So
but
this is what takes him to the dark side.
yeah,
Killing
it's
people
that
is
path.
wrong.
Yeah, and he knew that, but then he was like, but
It's interesting, though, because the Jedi in the first episode kill Darth Maul, and it's
but
fine.
he's the bad guy though.
Who also killed Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're saying don't kill, but then they're like, oh, don't kill unless.
There's always that asterisk in anything when it comes to that.
Yoda says never to attack, only to defend, or right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But now I'm defending my honor and my boy's life by killing your ass.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the third one, Yoda go with the Wookiees. And Wookiees live forever too, so maybe there's a connection.
Hey.
So maybe we get a little. No, I'm gonna say that.
We'll save
I'm
that
gonna
for the
later.
bonus
Yeah,
episode.
let me write that
so
down.
again,
You just write that down there.
I am. I'm
Write
literally
some fan fiction.
No, yeah, I'm literally about to write that shit down.
About the tridactyl
Quit writing
Wookiee
a better
hybrid.
show than we're getting.
so this happens. Nothing for a while, except for maybe an amazing Clone Wars TV show, a few other projects here and there, and people think that might just be it without the video games
Was pretty
for
well wrapped
Star
up,
Wars.
yeah.
Until
Well, Disney acquires Lucasfilm.
Boom.
In
Well,
20.
that
Well,
sounds like
fully
Disney
acquired.
knocked him over in an alley and picked up.
Yeah.
No, they gave him that motherfucker that check.
For $4 billion? $6 billion?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
it was more than that. It was
like-
it was $4.5 or $4.05 billion dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is just about enough.
Half of it was in.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, he got half of it in cash and the other half in Disney stocks.
Which is kind of incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to throw Star Wars in there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And they made that money
Marvel.
back like after one Star Wars movie.
Absolutely. Which is, they must have had some sort of partnership beforehand because of
Yeah.
Star Tours at Disneyland.
And
that's
the
true.
Best
licensing
ride
and
at
everything like
Disneyland.
that.
And didn't they have something already like Lucas Arts, just the visuals team too? Did they already have their
Yes.
foot in that with
Yeah.
all that shit? It was already acquiring.
But don't just gloss over this. So from, what'd you say, 1999 is when we started getting the
And
episodes
the last
1, 2,
one
3,
came
right?
out in what, 2004?
I'm going to say 4.
And we got all the
And so it's like
re-releases.
10 years later, right? 2013.
2013, we get the announcement
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
of episode 7.
Right.
Which
Episode
is
7.
crazy.
The Force Awakens. Not kind of probably the worst title of any of the Star Wars.
Maybe. But
I think.
Phantom
pretty-
Menace is pretty bad.
it's pretty significant, though, because it's going to follow episode 6. That should go
Yeah.
without saying, right? Except that the people in episodes 4, 5, and 6 are all old and dead. Most of them. And so, Alec Guinness,
Yeah.
we can't have a Force ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi anymore.
No.
Right? So, and even, not Chewie.
Well,
Chewie
they
is
might
almost
be
dead.
able to.
But, what's that?
So they might be able to. Look at Rogue One when they brought back the
Yeah.
guy who played Grand Moff Tarkin.
Hey
Yeah,
because I'm not a Star Wars guy. I didn't even know that motherfucker was CGI until after the
Pretty
fact.
tight.
Because I was just in there watching the movie.
Yeah.
And motherfuckers was like, oh, he wasn't even there. I was like, oh shit, damn.
So
That's some visual effects for your ass.
So we get the announcement that Episode 7, Force Awakens, is coming out, directed by one J.J. Abrams. Something of a contentious announcement. J.J. most well known for taking Star Trek and turning it into a blockbuster.
Yes.
A fun blockbuster.
I like those
I like
Star
it too.
Trek
Me too.
movies.
That's
I
another
enjoy 'em.
podcast, and it's excellent.
And it's coming maybe next year, January sometime.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit of a contentious choice to get JJ, but then everyone gets sold on the fact that Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford are all coming back to appear.
And all the other original
also,
cast.
And Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
And Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even the same cat for R2-D2, wasn't it?
Yeah. He hadn't died yet.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
He died
Couple
shortly
people haven't
after.
Yeah, this was his last one.
Yeah, so, and it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. No one really knows what's going to happen. Everybody kind of thinks that the story's done, And what the other thing that happens when Disney acquires Star Wars is that all 30 plus years of previous extended universe canon, that shit gets shot out the window.
Disney said, "Fuck all that, buy our new books."
Yeah,
because
if you want to know the deal,
at the time, something like 35.
Yeah,
they're not. You can't call them fan fiction because they're published.
No.
But nonetheless, of
extended
these
universe,
extended universe novels, which were really damn good.
Yeah, that's
I'll take your word for that.
And it's amazing. It just took the story and it wove it and brought in new characters, different facets and tangents and everything. It was incredible.
Sure.
And so they just balled it all up, brought it up, and threw it in the garbage.
Because you had Luke who had a kid, and then you had Leia and Han who had twins.
Yeah, Jason.
And then one of the was it Luke's or Han's kid that was the bounty hunter?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who knew that were like, "Oh, this is what the new series is going to be," and then we find out it's about this woman.
Holy shit!
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I have to be honest that I'm one of those. If it's not on film, it's not canon, guys. I know not everybody's not like that, but
I get it.
Some of us are intellectuals.
No,
they want to read
Star
shit.
Trek.
Well, like I said, I almost called them fan fiction. I mean, they weren't condoned by Lucasfilms. Right?
Now they're more or less the GT of the Star Wars universe for all my anime fans out there.
We get our first trailer, and there's a couple of seemingly probably shouldn't be bombshells, but they ended up being bombshells, right? First of all, our main quote-unquote Luke analog is a woman named Rey, played by Daisy Ridley.
Because she's a ray of sunshine. She burns up the universe.
Spelled differently, talks differently.
For the first time, to my recollection, we see a stormtrooper de-helmeted, and he's a black man.
That is not the way.
That hasn't been the way anyway.
Yeah. That's kind of a big.
It's interesting. You mentioned just offhand that our Luke analog is Rey, so our hero is going to be Rey, and initially that wasn't perceived as the case because it just seemed like because the opening trailer starts with John Boyega taking his helmet off, and think that's the guy. He's going to be our hero.
We're gonna follow the black stormtrooper.
That's right. I mean, as unlikely it is that a black person is going to be the hero in a story, right?
Blade.
I know. Immediately bought off, and it's great.
Dolomite.
But it's fascinating. Right? Boom, we got this guy. And then we got this other chick. And then everyone thinks, that's just who we're going to pick up along the way. Going to help out. Like,
maybe she'll
turn
say,
a wrench or something
"Aren't you
like that.
a little short for a stormtrooper?" And it'll be like, it's the original.
That could be cool. Yeah, but,
So, and then my favorite character of the sequels gets revealed. Mr. Kylo Ren.
Favorite character?
My favorite character
Adam
of
Driver.
the new...
Okay.
Yeah, Adam Driver, the man.
Yes, I was a fan of him since
totally
Girls.
Off pick, by the way.
Yeah, if you ever watched Girls, he's a total dick in it.
Yeah.
I've got a whole bunch of notes about that and stuff like that, but we'll get there later. I don't know if it's totally revealed. It must be in the first trailer that this is Darth Vader's grandson.
Not really. He just says he's going to finish what Vader started.
Yes.
Okay. So you see that connection. But it's not entirely clear.
And you see that his mask vaguely resembles Darth Vader, kind of with the mouth thing.
Perhaps.
And everything.
Now, do you think he ever tried to put it on?
Oh, hell yeah, he did.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah.
From Jump Street. I mean, as a little kid, like a toddler.
He probably took it out because it stank. Like, oh, brain.
Force
I didn't watch this shit.
Force Awakens comes out. It makes all the money in the world.
Of course.
Right.
Just about all of it.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
It will always do that.
Are we getting into our opinions now, or are we still
Go
just
for it.
kind of
As you go.
That's what we're here for.
it? It is a New Hope remake.
Of course.
To a large extent, not 100%.
You get a droid introduction. You get somebody to, like a rogue runaway guy to help out.
Yep.
All right, I'm with you. Go ahead.
And not to mention a Death Star to the 10th power.
Star Killer
base.
Starskiller, the beam.
That's right.
Kind of similar to the bullet they shot out of Astonishing X-Men that Horror throws Earth.
Yeah.
Except now with less kitty pride.
But no, there was still a red beam, just like Cyclops released that beam that blasted the building. Like, to me, my X-Men, y'all know where we at, Thundercats. So it was
now
like
with
that
less
shit.
kitty pride is fucking amazing.
But wouldn't Ray
Put
be
that
the
on a
kitty pride?
shirt.
Yes.
It's part of our merch now.
No, Kate Pride. Kate
now
Pride.
Kate, yeah.
Even Han at one point says, "Okay, so it's big. How do we blow it up?" There's always a way to blow it up.
Exactly. Because it's not his first rodeo.
Yeah.
Well, and I also like in that movie where Han has come around and he's like, the Force isn't a fucking joke.
Yeah. He's
And it feels like an old home week, like a high school reunion.
Yeah.
So you get all the new characters, but as you said, they are at least similar analogs. But then you also get the old cast back.
Yeah.
I mean, it is incredible. It's almost like Captain America catching Mjolnir. They're in Endgame.
Oh, no,
when
it's
you
not.
when you
It's
see
not. It's
Chewbacca
not
and Han
epic.
Solo come on the
Millennium
Falcon
Yeah.
and say we're home.
That was pretty good.
That was sweet. And I'm not even a big Star Wars guy, but I was like...
and even as I think we pan across the boardroom and we see Leia. Pretty incredible. C-3PO. You get to see R2-D2 under a dust cover.
Yeah. Of course, the biggest kind of big thing that happens in Force Awakens is the death of Han Solo.
oh man, they telegraphed that.
I mean, we know. At least
see it coming.
I feel like I knew that Harrison Ford. He didn't get the Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher syndrome where he never got another job afterwards.
Not at all.
He always kind of looked back at Star Wars as just the thing that launched his career.
Exactly.
He never had that ghost over him. Yeah. So I always got the impression that he came back. In fact, I might have read this somewhere, but don't quote me on it. You might not have been able to find it. That he came back on the condition that they killed Han.
That makes sense, too.
He actually came back to Empire Strikes Back on the condition they kill Han Solo.
So you're saying in another 20 years or so, we're going to see Harrison Ford just Weekend at Bernie'd going through
And
his
Indiana
movie.
Jones. She might no, y'all need to kill me now, so I will come back.
And they changed that up at the end in the middle of filming that he was going to survive because they knew they had a hit on their hands.
Yeah.
And of course Harrison Ford is a professional, so he played all the way through.
Yeah.
But yes, I think he absolutely came back to die in Force Awakens.
I probably also heard somewhere that they still want to make a fifth Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, that's happening. No,
They do.
because Shia LaBeouf was low key supposed to be the new start of it, but now
And
I
everyone
hear
rioted.
Yeah, but now I hear he might be back, and there might be a young
But
lady.
then he went like fucking crazy.
He's been crazy. He's a Disney Channel star.
So to get through the rest of this, so Force Awakens happens. It is largely a New Hope remake, but there are parts of it and there are themes of it that are wildly vary from New Hope, and that honestly is my favorite part of that movie and the stuff in Last Jedi, which we'll get to. To me, the best stuff of the sequel movies, and again, there we are talking about these are sequels or whatever.
Instead of just additional
continuation.
chapters.
Yeah. The best part about the sequel movies is the parts where they don't obsess over the fact that they're a Star Wars movie. Those are my say what you will about the prequels, but I really felt like the prequels did something to set themselves apart from the original trilogy, and the sequel movies they really got their hooks in that nostalgia blend. You know what I mean?
And one of my favorite parts of the first one, or the first of the new ones, the
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens is when fucking Kylo Ren has that temper tantrum, and he just doing all that shit, and all the guards just looking at him like,
and that's
and they just creep out of the fucking room. I'm like, if they had My Chemical Romance's face, he would have definitely got over his emo phase, but they don't have music like that or some shit.
Because he was not okay.
He was not okay.
That
was a young boy.
That's an example of what I mean.
He didn't take him.
That's an example of what I mean about when they're not obsessing the fact, like these new characters work best when they're not actually the analogs of the old characters, but they try to get pigeonholed, or maybe it's me, maybe it's our fault as an audience, but it seems like they get forced into these positions to play like those analogs, but they shine the most when they're not. So Kylo Ren is very obviously supposed to be this new Darth Vader type, right? And he's obsessed over him and everything.
Literally.
But he can never live up to the shadow of Vader, no matter what he does. And so he throws those tantrums. Because Vader didn't throw tantrums, he just choked motherfuckers.
Right. And then just look at his lightsaber. I mean, it's reinforcing.
It looks like a child made it.
Well, but the lightsaber itself, the beam, every other beam, sometimes because props and CGI weren't developed as much as they are now, but they were always a single beam. They're microscopically thin, and they're pure and smooth and everything. You don't see any kind of variations, right?
Pure and smooth.
Pure and smooth, right?
Baby, like a pearl.
And then But then you see Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Not only does it have the two, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Spokes? I don't know what it is.
It's like
Exhaust
a weird.
valves?
It's a lightsaber hilt.
Yeah, it's a hilt.
Anyway, but the two micro lightsabers on the outside,
Yeah.
right? But even just the beam looks like it's coursing
messy.
electricity.
Yeah, because it's like it reflects his emotional state, like he's unbridled.
Now,
angst.
for those of you that are immerse yourself in the canon, like everybody here has read all the books, I'm sure.
Nope.
Okay.
Fuck Star Wars.
But okay, so Kelsey's off the podcast.
Yeah, I get the impression this isn't the place for you, my friend.
No, it's not. Like
Kelsey, I don't want you to have any white men tell you that this isn't the place for you. This is always the place for you. You're welcome here.
oh no, I'll get there every day of my life.
Right
It's fine, but like
right
I could
into
care
that
less about Star Wars, but I'm a geek, so I'm
Fair
here.
enough. But lightsabers are created by the Jedi using kyber crystals, right? And they have to imbue them with their force. And so, if a Jedi is balanced and pure and disciplined in thought, then he can make his lightsaber, he or she, and then the lightsaber is
Right.
clean, smooth, whatever you want to call it, right? But Kylo had only like half the Jedi's training. And then he had slipped to the dark side, and all he's about is living up to Darth Vader's legacy, and he's failing every step of the way, and so his lightsaber naturally reflects that. It might have a kyber crystal in it, of course it should, but it's just violent and messy and chaotic and
so in order of release, Force Awakens comes out, it's a big hit, makes all the money. Some people are angry about quote unquote SJW politics
because finally people are being represented in movies, and why would that ever happen?
But then crazy.
But then something comes. You think it's crazy. You think it's like propaganda you just hear on the internet. But we work at a comic book store. We see these people.
You know the
It's
truth.
It's weird. Like, so you don't want a woman saving the day? You want to die?
Yeah, exactly. You want to die. You don't want someone capable coming in.
You know your mama birthed you, right?
This also gets rolled up in the idea that Disney's in control now. Lucas isn't writing stuff. He's a co-producer. He's a consultant. He's got a little bit of clout. He can Twitter attacks things like I didn't want that, and Disney can kind of change it a little bit. But now we've got Disney making the Lucasfilms movies instead.
So after Force Awakens comes out and it makes all the money, something kind of unexpected happens. We get another Star Wars movie announced the next year.
Yeah.
So where did that take us, Kelsey?
That took us into Rogue One. My favorite of the Star Wars movies, because like I stated before, I'm not a big Star Wars person. I'm familiar with the lore. I never watched any of the original 3 because
wait a second, what?
I'm sorry, what?
I have never watched the original 3 from beginning to
TJ's
end.
getting up from the table.
Because as a young
he's leaving.
Because as a young adult or a young kid, I would say I was a Trekkie. I love Star Trek. I watched Next Generation all the time on TV, and trying to watch the original Star Wars movie put me to sleep because of the graphics. I couldn't get into. Everything looked so unoriginal. But being a geek
there you go.
and into pop culture, I know everything about these movies upon the basics. Because you get it all. It's referenced so much. Family Guy literally did 3 episodes about all of them. Everybody knows the Force, Yoda, this, that, and third. There was nothing for me to watch about these movies.
We got to get into Rogue One, but did you just think that Chewbacca was a giant tribble?
No, I knew he was a Wookiee.
Damn it.
No, I knew. Because they don't multiply like that. The tribbles are like the Hispanics of space in Star Trek universe.
Well, you never saw
You ain't got to touch one to get one.
You didn't see Chewie eat after midnight.
Time is relative.
He's probably not a Mogwai either. But
exactly.
Right. Okay.
Unless that's...
So
Exactly.
what the fuck is Rogue One about, Kelsey?
Rogue One is about the mission to get the plans about how to blow up the Death Star. And it was one of the better filler arcs, you could say, easily, of the Star Wars universe. Because it played a crucial part to the overall lore.
Quick question. How many Bothans died to get that?
I don't know because I don't know what a Bothan
God damn
is.
it.
Exactly, but no.
Many.
But the reason why I'm sorry, keep TJ. But the reason why I liked it, like I said, not being into Star Wars, because it was just a good movie. It entertained me from beginning to end. There was action, there was a story, and not knowing everything about the lore, I knew the beats.
So, the Rogue One movie. The whole story is actually born from like a sentence and a half that came out of A New Hope, and it's just amazing. Mon Mothma said that we acquired these plans at great sacrifice. Many Bothans died to bring them here, and that's it.
That's all.
And now, what is incredible about it is that it was a fantastic movie based on just an idea that we had to get the plans.
Yeah,
I thought it was incredible, but of course I had all the
and it's literally like, give me an inch, I'm gonna take a yard, and that's what they did. They took a sentence and made an entire epic movie. We got the boy Forrest Whitaker in it.
Yeah,
he killed that part. And we just get the story, like we get Donnie Yen. I'm one with the Force was with me. A blind, not Jedi, but he knew enough of the Force that he allowed the Force to be a part of him. So it goes into the thing like, do you have to be a Jedi to manipulate the Force?
I was just going to say, we'll educate you real quick. He's just called a Force-sensitive user.
Oh, okay.
But the Force was one with him. And then you have his buddy Baze Melbus.
Yeah. With the Gatling gun, like, fuck all that noise.
he was Big Boy before Big Boy was in The Mandalorian.
Oh, yes, he was.
Oh, my God.
And just the friendship they had.
Which was dope,
beautiful.
too.
Did anybody think they were lovers?
Yeah.
No.
I could have seen it. I could have seen it.
I could care less.
I just think that they were just that cool together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they definitely had love for each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe they weren't lovers, but it was like Baze was going to be there for let's call him Donnie Yen because that's his real name.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his character's name.
But for Donnie Yen, and Donnie Yen was there for him, even though they squabbled. It's classic archetypes.
And it's like one of those things too. Like I knew everybody was gonna die, but watching, I was like, "Oh shit, he just died."
I actually didn't know they were gonna die until it started happening.
Oh shit! I was like, "Yeah, it's like one of them things you forget that because you're so invested in the movie." Like, oh yeah, nobody lives.
Yeah,
because they would have been telling the story. Like, get me a beer. Let me tell you how we brought that.
That was kind of the thing that was going on. Is this Jen Erso, is the girl, right?
Yes.
Everybody's like, "Oh well, wait." She has a British accent. That must make her. That must mean she's Rey's mom.
But as Doctor Who
God
said,
Almighty. But but the point is this. This was the first thing, and what Brandon was talking about is that this is a first movie that connected, was in the same universe, but didn't involve the saga,
Exactly.
the grand Skywalker saga.
Exactly.
And so people were trying to make connections to things and bringing it back and forth. And the point is, the connections were exactly what you saw on the screen, except for Jeddah.
Tell us about Jeddah because I don't know, Mr. Lore Master.
Well, no. So this is where Forrest Whitaker is hanging out, right? But this is the first planet that gets whacked by the Star Killer.
Yes.
Oh, I thought Jeddah was a person.
No, so Jeddah is the planet, and if you take now, there's not a whole lot that's actually in canon about Jeddah, or even in the legends about Jeddah, except that you can take a look at the landscape as it's being blown up, and you can see these massive sculptures of Jedi. They're like laying on their side with like lightsabers and stuff.
Which is where Donnie Yen and Baze Melbus were there, because Donnie Yen was the one outside of the temple. He was keeping it safe.
And so it's obviously connected to probably Knights of the Old Republic somewhere. I haven't read that far into it, but it's not the origin planet or anything like that. But it is significant, and it's pretty. I don't know.
There was a mine of kyber crystals.
Yes.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Rogue One gave me my favorite Star Wars character of the whole franchise, and it's gonna be K2SO.
Oh my god, just the best
I
droid
love
ever.
that dude.
Alan Tudyk.
Yes, Alan Tudyk, who's also the new voice of the
luckily-
Joker in the Harley Quinn animated series, FYI. And
Really?
I'm an asshole, so I always love asshole characters. That's why Raphael is my favorite Ninja Turtle, because he was the asshole of the Turtles in the 80s cartoon.
Is that why you're always talking about God?
No. Because we are one.
Asshole characters.
But it's pretty cool that actually, starting with this and then moving into Solo and stuff, we start to see robots with much more personality.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Much more deeper personal and, if I can say, human relationships with humans.
Right.
And so, I mean, I damn near cried when K2 died.
It was really good.
Yes.
In the first 3 episodes, 1, 2, and 3, there's even a throwaway line that if these droids had personalities and automation, then we would all be gone. But we see later on, no, these are semi-sentient beings. You'd have to imagine.
Yeah, and you guys were also saddened by the death of him and his homie. Are getting a Disney Plus TV series sometime next year or in 2021.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
who's
didn't
his
know
homie? What are you talking about?
The other guy.
Cassian?
Yeah,
I was going to call him Poe, but Poe's
Cassian,
from
okay,
the new
yeah.
trilogy.
So, how does this movie end?
Everybody dies. Everybody dies, and the plans get shipped to Princess Leia. And then one of my favorite scenes in the whole franchise, because growing up, I heard about Vader. He's the darkest and most evil and vile person in the galaxy. And I watched these movies in parts, like seeing him do his thing. But I'm like, I don't get it. Until
Rogue One.
They opened that bay, it went dark. The only thing you hear is vroom, that shit came on. Like, just slicing and dicing. I'm saying like, oh shit, Vader code. Then it's like, see, they didn't have that foresight back then in like the 70s, like make him that vicious. But then it makes sense. Like he's little Annie. He got all this unbridled rage and shit because he ain't got body parts and his wife died and you don't know his kids, but he just in here slicing and dicing motherfuckers.
And it ends with a 26-year-old Carrie Fisher.
Exactly.
And you know, when
shit.
you say all of Darth Vader's problems out loud, you can't help but be like, damn, dude. Like, are you okay? You want to just come over and hang out? We don't even got to talk.
Here's a beer.
Exactly.
So I'm going to put on Disney Plus. We all just hang out. No, we're not watching the prequels. No, we're not watching the prequels.
I know that because I know it's too soon. It's just too soon.
Yeah. So Rogue One ends, and again, we get another
saga movie, and so
next year.
This is crazy because what we've really started to realize at this point was that Lucasfilm, the subdivision of Disney, wanted to put out Star Wars like they were Marvel movies.
Yep.
They wanted to just put at least one out every year.
They had to.
I think it's not a controversial statement to say they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that model.
Yeah,
maybe.
But Last Jedi comes out, and written and directed by Ryan Wilson.
Ryan Wilson.
I think you're right. Ryan
Wilson.
My fault.
And it is 100% without a doubt the most divisive, controversial thing to ever come out of Star Wars.
I love it.
I actually do too. So I really loved it when it first came out.
I like it.
And then I got just worn down because
the fandom.
Yeah, the
we work in a comic book store.
We work in a comic book store, and I spend way too much time online and on Reddit and stuff. So I kind of got worn down, and I started making concessions where I didn't really feel like I needed to make concessions until I rewatched it just last week. And there are problems with that movie, and there are really interesting things to critique about that movie. Yeah. But I think everything lands emotionally.
I think they kind of set themselves up for a hell of a lot of controversy because remember how I was saying it's like a high school reunion where everybody's showing up, but the one person that's not there is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? And he's been in all the other ones, or at least his dad.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like everyone's like, where the hell is he? And that was kind of the overarching plot for Force Awakens is how do we get this this dad out of BB-8 and put it into R2-D2 and blah blah, find out where he is.
But robots have to fuck.
That's right. Well, it's important that they swap information.
Yeah.
And then and so then Rey, our Luke analog, shows up on the island and then hands the lightsaber to Luke Skywalker, right? And so from there, now almost the fan base is almost willing to accept that the Force Awakens kind of blew sometimes. Like, okay, it's kind of rehash. What's going on? I don't really understand.
Low-key was just a setup for this.
Because Luke showed up at the end, like, there it is. Now, in the next movie, we're going to get back to our lightsaber fighting son of a bitch and go
I would
and
appreciate the next time you make a point that you don't fucking slap me.
Whoa.
Just no,
that's rule number one. No hitting. Yeah. It's written down.
So Last Jedi happens.
Last Jedi is super controversial. And in interest of fairness to myself, I do that sometimes. In interest of fairness to myself, remember how I said Empire is just them trying to make the jump to light speed?
Okay.
Last Jedi is kind of just a really slow car chase.
It's a very slow car chase.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's literally what it's.
With green titty milk.
They're for one reason or another, no one's ever been able to track through lightspeed before, but now the First Order can do that to the Resistance ships, and so that's a problem. Yeah. They're running out of gas.
Yeah.
And if they make another jump to lightspeed, they're just going to get tracked, and now they're dead in the water.
Well, and no one knows how they're doing it. They're like that kid on the playground that says, "Well, now I've got a force field."
Yes.
But I've also got your weapons.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I had one kid when I was in school that went, "I am God." Anyways,
a very different school than I did. That is interesting. Yeah, so that's what starts this car chase is that they can't go to light speed anymore.
Yeah.
And so they have to go like really fast. And that's really kind of the problem is that this huge ass bitchin' dreadnought.
Yeah, that ship is dope.
Looks like a boomerang.
Oh that motherfucker
hot as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then Finn wakes up from a coma, which apparently he's been in since Force Awakens.
Yes.
Finn is John Boyega, right?
Yeah.
That's
John
racist.
Boyega.
The black man got to show up late to his own movie.
The turned stormtrooper, which, remember how I said Kylo is my favorite character?
Yes.
True.
Finn could be my favorite character if they really explored that defective, that what it means to defect from the Empire or the First Order, you know what I mean? That could really be powerful. They just never do anything with it.
Yeah, all they do is just fight Phasma with it. That's all they don't ever explore
Except
it.
for at the end of Last Jedi, which we'll get there. Finn is on a mission to go find Rey, and he goes to get into an escape pod and is stopped by, again, a character that people just absolutely hate, named Rose Tico.
Is that the Asian chick?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't
hate her.
I was fine with it, but it just felt like they was trying to force a love triangle, which they never really tried to. I didn't even mean for that. But they never really tried to get off in the first place with even Ray and Finn. Like, you kind of felt like they vibe, but not the fact like they was in love. Yeah. So they didn't bring in a little Asian shorty.
For each other. And that's one of the things I think was said in the interview.
Comrades.
They're not romantically entangled, but there is this love between them that like, hey.
But there's no real reason for it,
right?
Like when he wakes up and he's just like, Ray, where's Ray?
Well, okay, but look at the events of the Force Awakens. Of course he'd be like that. Right after he defects, he meets Rey. She saves his life. He saves her life.
And he tried to use the lightsaber, but that didn't work.
But even in Force Awakens, I mean, there was some pretty powerful stuff there. But he is so one-track minded about finding Rey that he creates a whole subplot of Last Jedi.
Once again, vagina is a very powerful motivator.
It leads to the dark side.
Yes, it is. The dark insides.
Okay.
Him, Rose, and Finn devise a plan. They think they figured out how to stop this lightspeed tracking.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting though is that all of their efforts, and there's a significant amount of this movie that's dedicated to what they're doing and how they're getting out of the crap, right?
Yeah.
They're totally ineffective.
Yes, absolutely.
They have absolutely no impact on the movie.
And I like that, like you were saying, in the original movies, you have a plan, it goes out without a hitch, even if Han Solo is blind, it still happens. Yeah. I like that they failed in this one.
Yeah.
I like DJ? I like his character because he is so chaotic neutral.
He is.
Which one was that?
That's Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, I like
he's
that.
He's just like, oh, yeah, you're good guys? That's crazy because this, and this.
Yeah, because all they actually did was to kill just about all the transport ships. Right? That was the only effect that they had on the plot.
And one of the best scenes too was Carrie Fisher using the Force to force her way back into the ship.
I disagree.
All right, that's cool. But like that moment happened, I was like, "Oh shit, she really do got control of the Force." Yeah. Awesome. And then one of my other favorite moments of the movie and the whole franchise is when they light speeded through the motherfucker, and that shit slow mo, then it stopped. They were sitting there like, oh, and there was sparks everywhere. That shit was sexy.
Yeah. Would you agree that this could have all been avoided if Holdo had just told the crew her plan?
Yes, that's a big part of it. Yeah, Finn and Rose try to go recruit this guy who can help them get onto the big dreadnought, which they think is the one that's tracking them. Meanwhile, Poe remains on the ship and argues with not Carrie Fisher because she got blown into space. Argues with Laura Dern from Jurassic Park. Hi, I love you.
Oh shit, that was
Laura Dern.
And they argue because apparently Rian Johnson just didn't have anything better for them to do for the rest of the movie.
Makes sense.
The real meat of that movie is Rey trying to convince Luke to train her.
Exactly.
And that's why people really... I think that's a lot of why people didn't like the movies, because, in fact, even Mark Hamill said he really disagreed with a lot of the ways that Luke was written. Yeah. That felt natural to me, because Luke was a whiny little kid, and then when things didn't go down, he just became a grumpy old hermit. Like, that feels like a natural progression to me.
And then they explained the whole thing, too, when they gave the Kylo Ren flashback, because Luke thought he might have to kill his nephew.
Yeah.
But then Kylo woke up like, oh, I wasn't about to do it, but Kylo just see, Uncle, you about to kill me. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Some Abraham and Isaac shit right there.
But there is the
Bible?
Yeah. there is a grand arc that's between the first two movies, or between episode 7 and 8 so far. Mm-hmm. And that is that Luke has decided that the Jedi Order needs to end.
Yes.
And this harkens back all the way back. It's a good word.
I know it's a good word.
And I said harken today. Yeah, I'm getting it today.
We've been keeping track.
I pulled out the thesaurus and I went to town.
If you guys have been following along,
if
you've been listening to any of our episodes from the beginning, TJ says keywords here and there. If you string them all together, it's a hidden phrase. Send it in to us for your secret prize.
If you pull out your bingo cards, first person to claim bingo on Facebook gets a
TJ's phone number
from me. Anyway, but the harkens all the way back to episode 1, where we talk about the prophecy. And the prophecy is that Anakin Skywalker will bring about the balance of the Force. And so one of the big deals, especially in the books, which I know were all crumpled up and thrown away, but Disney has borrowed heavily from at random, is that the first Jedi didn't pursue light or dark. Instead, they pursued balance, a gray Jedi, if you will. And so, anyway, so Luke says that the history of the Jedi Order is just written in failure. Right at their height, the highest strength that the Jedi has ever been, they had the Emperor, the greatest Sith Lord ever, right there under their nose. And so the point is, he thinks the Jedi Order needs to end. Now, this is getting into conjecture for the next movie, for the end of the saga, but
which we will come back and talk about once we've all seen it.
I think that's pretty critically important to understand, that Luke is trying to end the Jedi. And so when Rey shows up with a lightsaber, he goes, God damn it, I went to this island where all I got are these furry penguins running around, and I just wanted to die.
So adorable.
Chuck the lightsaber. Right.
Okay. So yeah, that's another contentious point of that movie, was that Rey's parentage allegedly gets revealed, and according to Kylo Ren, they are junkers who have nothing to do with the story. Do I think that's going to be the case? No. Do I want it to be the case? I do. I think that'd be kind of cool. In fact, Daniel and I have a bet riding on that.
Yes, we do.
A whole Saturday shift, open to close.
You're going to lose, Brandon.
I know I am, but just out of principle, I feel I need to stick to it.
Okay.
I already got plans.
And in a not a rehash, but in kind of an homage to the cave scene from Empire, Rey finds the one place on the island that really kind of exudes dark side energy, and she enters into it, and it becomes this very kind of kaleidoscopic, psychedelic trip where she asks the Harry Potter truth mirror who her parents are, and just a vision of herself shows up.
The mirror of Ezra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe she is also a immaculate conception. Who knows? That's another possibility.
I think you're overlooking something very critical, but
Okay,
go ahead.
tell me.
I think she's a clone.
Yep.
A clone of who?
Shmi.
Luke's hand.
Whoa!
Wait,
you know what?
Baru?
Luke's hand.
Hand.
Oh.
Because
Not ant.
you know
Luke's
what?
aunt.
I thought you said his aunt.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Had the hand cut off in Empire Strikes
So
Back.
she's a clone of Luke.
There was a leaked script of Force Awakens that came out in 2014 that after the crawl opened on Luke's hand flying through space. Holy shit, you might have just blown the whole world apart.
Spoiler alert.
Bob Iger, please don't come after us if people hear this before the movie and it turns out to be the biggest spoiler of 2019.
I don't believe that Disney let Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams just do stuff without knowing how it was going to end. That doesn't make any sense to me. So they had to have known who she is from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And even though they've gone back and forth on publicly saying, we thought it was Junker or without this, I think that in that dark cave scene, when all we see are repeated versions of herself.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
What hand does she snap with?
Her left hand. She snaps with the right hand, but she touches the mirror with her left hand. Unless, of course, you buy that in reverse is her. But the point is that she touches with her hand and asks, "Please tell me who they are. Who are they? Who are they?" And you see what looks like two people showing up, right, and merging. Then you see the hand touch, and that's where it clears, is the hand, and then it just shows her.
Wow, that's some really very meticulous detail.
Yeah, it's really good.
You're welcome.
Yes, it is.
Last Jedi is the most visually appealing Star Wars movie that has ever been directed. Oh, yeah, and also...
3, 2, 1.
One of the biggest surprises that comes out of Last Jedi is Kylo Ren's assassination, his usurpation. Is that the correct...
We're going to go with it.
Yeah. Of
Sounds like
Supreme Leader Snoke.
Who is that guy?
We don't know. We don't give a fuck.
And who is he? What was he killed by?
He was killed by Luke's lightsaber. Luke's old lightsaber. Yes,
Damn.
he was. Which leads to one of the best sequences in any Star Wars movie, is that back-to-back Kylo Ren fight against the Imperial Guard.
The Red Guards. That shit went hard. Yeah. That was good.
There's not much to say about the ending, except that Luke force projects himself to fight Kylo on...
Just the coolest Sixth Sense
Yes,
reveal
very
ever.
cool.
That was awesome.
Very cool.
That was fucking sick.
Not only does he die because he projected himself halfway across the galaxy, but he did reconnect himself with the Force because his body didn't go limp; it disappeared.
He's
That's
just like
right.
shocked by that.
Yeah.
And Yoda taught that shit too.
Yeah. So did Obi-Wan in episode.
But we do have one other movie to talk about.
That's right. There was another one that came after that, which no one really expected. No one asked for.
Right.
Kelsey, what movie is that?
It was called Solo, and I didn't find Solo to be that bad because,
It's
like
fun.
I said, it's a fun, enjoyable, watchable movie because I'm not that connected to like I said, the universe. I thought the actor
As a whole.
I thought that actor did his job. The scene when he meets Chewie made sense. I love that. And yes, the whole fact, like, oh, you don't know your family, so you're solo, so that's why your name's Solo. Whatever.
It's pretty dumb. One of the coolest things in there was Darth Maul being revealed at the end.
Exactly. That. Then you had the Vision in it, Paul Bettany, then Daenerys, Stormbringer. I'm not going to go into her other aliases, but she was in it too. But it served its purpose. We seen how he got the Millennium Falcon. Lando Calrissian was in there. You find out that he's not good at any card games he played because he always fucking lose. And he was kind of fucking his robot.
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, the robot's fucking him. Yeah. We established that in another episode.
Word.
Yeah.
And he has mad capes in his wardrobe too, which is dope.
And that's one that I think can just be a standalone movie. I don't know if we're gonna see
Lando and his
it.
capes.
Yep.
Lando in his wardrobe.
Lando in his Technicolor coat.
Nice.
It does, however, answer the age-old question: what the hell is a parsec?
What the fuck is a parsec?
It's a measurement it's a unit of measurement.
It's a measure of distance.
I thought it was a vegetable. No, that's a parsnip.
Parsnip is different. If you accomplish a Kessel Run in 12 parsnips, it's a whole different kind of movie.
That's Super Mario's too.
But it does demonstrate. I thought it was pretty cool that in order to go the right way and to go fast, you got to go 16 or 20 parsecs or whatever. But if you cut across and you go through Cholula, if you do some chalupas, there you can take a shortcut and make it in 12 parsecs.
Which is crazy. I mean, it explains it. And, again, standalone, gave us just enough. And now we have The Mandalorian. There's enough Star Wars material out there to keep us going until this movie. But we're at the end here, guys. Speaking of the movie. In not 5 minutes increments, maybe less than, maybe a couple sentences, what are you wanting from this next movie? And, Brandon, where can the people find you? What do you want to plug?
Okay, so what am I expecting from the next movie? I have only seen the first trailer. I haven't even seen the second trailer.
I won't.
I am going in totally blind. To be totally honest, I had fallen out of love with Star Wars until like a month ago. So honestly, I just want something that stands on its own and doesn't rest on the laurels of the successes that came before it.
That's a really good answer.
As far as anything I want to plug, I'm in a band called A Bad Night for a Hero.
Yeah, we've had your music on the show.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
I keep forgetting that.
Also, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram at vague_hearts. Twitter at abugamong. I write a lot, but you'll probably never read it.
Oh, it's so good. He really should be published. He writes some of the funniest shit I've ever read.
It's hard to read what you don't show us.
And happily married for about 2 months.
Yeah, man.
Yay!
So, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do I want from this saga? So I want to wrap the saga up. I don't want to have loose ends that continue on.
No.
I think that I want to see the saga end with a prophecy of bringing balance to the Force. And what does that mean? I think it's going to be disappointing to both the Jedi and the Sith.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. But I think that it's going to demonstrate that the Force is accessible to all, which I think is sort of what there's a couple of scenes spread out throughout the
we are all Skywalker kind of nonsense.
Anyway, and so if you happen to have a BB series droid and an R2 droid that's in hibernation somewhere in a rebel base, you might be able to put those pieces together and find me on social media, because those pieces don't exist and I'm not there. So
he will communicate with you if you interact with their page.
That's right. I'll absolutely respond to anything you guys put there on the page. Please respond on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other social media happens to come out in the meantime.
Word.
Oh, he's got to wind up. He's got to crack the neck.
Oh, no. I really don't. So I'm just start off where you can find me. Of course, always Kills_for_show on Instagram and Snapchat. Facebook, Kelsey DeAndre Greer. You can find me at Escape Velocity, selling comic books and various other things for the time being. And
sounds like you're slinging drugs.
Yeah, dude. What do you think the escape velocity means?
He goes, I got comic books, I got
sounds go fast.
I got what you need right here.
I got Boom Boom. I got Jubilee. I got
And y'all told me to wrap this up, but you're continuing to elongate this like elongated man. But only thing I'm selling is knowledge and geekdom to the customers and the fan base, so you could be further knowledgeable of the things that we critique and we talk about on the podcast. But The one thing I want to hope for, or I hope will be added to, but I know it won't be, would be Chewbacca's story of him having to watch the nephew that he raised as a kid kill his best friend and his father. Because
damn.
Yeah, because Han Solo...
Chewbacca has to know Ben.
Yes,
absolutely.
He's Uncle Chewie.
He's Uncle Chewie.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's one thing that they negate because I would love if there's a moment when Chewie is the one that like
when he speaks, he's like, Ben, how could you have done that?
Like, this is for my best friend. Like this is a whole because like Kevin Smith talked about on one of his podcasts, but it's like a whole little animated video of Chewie like being a little uncle, seeing him grow up just to come and see your nephew kill your best friend and his father and realize all that, plus your mom, dad, and Chewie's been here from Jump Street.
Yes.
Well, not Jump Street, but he's been here long enough, and he probably kicked it with Yoda, and Yoda probably told him some tales too.
He did. He was in episode 3.
Exactly. So I wish they would acknowledge that, but they won't. Other than that, just give me an entertaining movie.
I guess I want this to be the end of the Skywalker saga.
Yes.
I want it to be final. Like you said, no hang-ons, no dingleberries, nothing that's going to lead down the trail that will be like, oh, but here's another Luke analog. I want people to have their own stories.
So what that mean with Rey dying or my fault, Kylo dying if he's the last Star Wars?
They don't necessarily
Skywalker?
have to die, but I'd like them to put a button on it and just be done with Skywalker.
Can I amend what I want?
Yeah.
I want the new characters. This is what I was really trying to say. I want the new characters to have as clearly defined roles as the original 3 characters did.
Okay.
I feel like Rey is probably the most defined, and then it's Kylo. But Finn and Poe,
we don't know what the fuck they do.
It's kind of like what is their role in all of this? Like, what does it mean to be a defected stormtrooper? What does it mean to be the best resistance pilot?
Yeah, are they friends? Are they lovers? Somewhere in between.
So that's really what I want. I just want to really know what all 3 of them are.
All right, so that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Brandon, thank you so much for taking time to be here today.
Hey, thanks for having me here on this snowy day. So,
yeah, man. As always, we recorded Escape Velocity Comics. Our thoughts, our ideas, our opinions expressed here in this podcast do not reflect that of Escape Velocity, its staff, or any of the secrets it tells you before you go to bed.
I will argue with you about Last Jedi if you come and see me at work.
That's true.
I won't back down from that.
I'll Indian leg wrestle you over any one of the episodes.
Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Patreon, and Instagram. That is Escaping Podcast. Follow us, comment, let us know what you'd like to hear and how we can be a better lover to you. Today we are going to leave you with Two in Between by Cyoti. Her stuff is on SoundCloud. She's amazing. She's a local artist. Make sure you check her out. And if you or anyone else you know would like to have your music featured on the show, email us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, everyone, and remember, there can only be one chum bucket.
And remember, even if you're trapped in carbonite, you can always force project your way out and become an escapee. Stay uncanny, y'all.
Flowers in full bloom. I'm watching you drive down the 25 in late July. Every time you hear we're playing, I spy. You're blind to what I have to offer. And we go over this too often. You don't know me anymore than you know you. Baby, I know you better than I know myself. Give me something else. Always ran to you till you stole my shoes. Even then, I got blisters for you. Gotta cut you loose, 'cause that's just how I do. I'll never be like you. I'll never be like you. I promise I'm getting better and better by the day. I'm out of new, I couldn't take you with me. Our love is struggling like the bees. Tell me, can you feel it in the trees? Maybe now you see me. Maybe now you'll see me. See me on TV. Oh, I'm leveling up, bitch. Don't need no one to fuck with. Told me too many times I'm too in between the lines. I'm leveling too in between the lines. Yeah. Stuck in the gray, don't feel no way. Way too far in for you to be lying straight to my face. Yeah, you threw the shade first, and you want me to play. Yeah, you want me to say I want you back. I never want you back. Ooh, I am leveling up, bitch. Don't need no one to fuck with. You told me too many times I'm too in between the lines. Too in between the lines. Too in